Hey guys, welcome to DIY Crafts. In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step pattern of making this beautiful peacock feather. So let's get started. For this, I'm using different shades of mercerized cotton yarn and a crochet hook of size 1.6 mm. Now let's get started. Begin with a slip knot and make chain 5 to form a ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now make a slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Now let's start making the first row. Begin with chain 3. This chain 3 acts as a first double crochet stitch in our row 1. Now yarn over and make a double crochet stitch into the center. Likewise, continue to make double crochet stitches into the center until you have a total of 15 double crochet stitches. Now I am making the last double crochet stitch of the row 1 and now make a slip stitch into the third chain in the first stitch. So this completes your first row with 15 double crochet stitches. Now grab another color and change the color as shown. Now with the new color attached, begin with chain 3 and this chain 3 acts as one of the double crochet stitch in the first stitch. Now yarn over and make a double crochet stitch into the same stitch, which means we have 2 stitches in the first stitch. 1 chain 3 and 1 double crochet stitch. Now into the next stitch, make a double crochet increase again. So this is the second double crochet increase in our second row. So we have 2 DC increases. Likewise, continue to work double crochet increases for first 7 stitches. This is the third one. Here I am continuing to work while including the tail ends, so I don't need to weave them in by the end of the project. So that reduces our work and easy to work as well. So include the tail ends while you are working for the second row as well. After securing the ends with a few stitches, trim the excess threads. Now continue to work in the next stitches. Here we have already done 4 increases. We have to do 3 more increases. That's the 5th one, 6th increase, and finally the 7th increase. Now into the next stitch, instead of increase, that means 2 double crochet stitches, we are going to make 3 double crochet stitches into that stitch. So that's the first one, second and the third one. So this gives this pointed shape for our next row. Now we will be left with 7 stitches. So in these 7 stitches, continue to make DC increases. That means 2 DCs in each and every stitch until you reach the starting point. Here I am making the last double crochet increase in the second row. Now after completing this, make a slip stitch into the third chain, and after the end of the second row we will have total of 31 double crochet stitches. Now change the color and continue to work for the third row. Begin with chain 1 and no need to count this chain 1 as a stitch. It is created just to give the illusion of height. Now into the same stitch, make 1 single crochet stitch. Now make 1 single crochet stitch in next 12 stitches, which means I will have a total of 13 single crochet stitches. That's the second one, third, fourth. Just keep the same technique of including the tail ends while working, and after few stitches you can trim the excess thread. Now after completing 13 single crochet stitches, in the next stitch we are going to make a half double crochet increase. So we are working 2 HDCs into the same stitch. Now in the next stitch, make 1 DC and then 1 triple crochet stitch. So yarn over twice and perform a triple crochet stitch into the same stitch. Now into the next stitch, that is the middle stitch, we are going to make 3 triple crochet stitches. That's the first DC. Now a second triple crochet into the same stitch and the third triple crochet into it. So this gives the tip of the feather on top. Now into the next stitch, make 1 triple crochet stitch followed by 1 double crochet stitch into the same stitch. That's 1 TC and 1 DC into the same stitch. You can see the shape here. Now into the next stitch, make 2 half double crochet stitches. Just ignore the video, I had a small misunderstanding here. So I've made a DC and a HDC. You guys do HDC increase. And then continue to make 13 single crochet stitches in next 13 stitches, which means 1 single crochet in each and every stitch, and then slip stitch to complete your third row. And by the end of the third row you will have 37 stitches. Now change the color and begin with chain 3. Consider this chain 3 as a double crochet stitch in your 4th row, and now make 1 double crochet stitch into the same stitch, which means we will have 2 stitches in the first stitch, which means a DC increase. Then make 1 double crochet in next 2 stitches. That's 1 and that's the second one. So here the pattern is a DC increase and 2 DCs. Now continue this pattern of DC increase and 2 DC for a total of 5 times. Now we have already done DC increase, that's the first DC and then the second DC. Now likewise continue with the pattern. Here I am trimming the excess thread. Now after completing the 5 times, in the next stitch we are going to have a DC increase. If you are looking for the written pattern, do check the description and make sure you follow me on all the social media platforms and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that's the first DC and making another DC. That's a DC increase. Then we have 1 DC in the next stitch, followed by DC increase in the next stitch. Now in the middle stitch we have 3 DCs. That's the middle stitch in the 3 DCs in the previous row. Above that stitch we have to make 3 DCs. That's the second one and then the third one. Now in the next stitch we have a DC increase, which means 2 DCs into the same stitch. Now make 1 DC in the next stitch and then DC increase in the next stitch. Now in the next 2 stitches make 1 DC in each and every stitch. That's the first one and then the second one. In the next stitch we have a DC increase. Now we are going to repeat the pattern of 2 DCs and a DC increase for 5 times. That's the replica of the pattern on the front side. Just replicate the pattern until you reach the starting point. Here I am making the last DC increase. And now make a slip stitch onto the third chain in the first stitch, and this completes your 4th row with 53 stitches. At any point of time, if you feel the video is little fast, Slow it down by adjusting the playback speed in the settings. Now for the 5th row, again I am changing the color to purple. Now let's continue with the pattern. Make chain 1 and make 1 single crochet stitch into the same stitch. Just include the tail ends just like we have done before. Now make another single crochet stitch into the same stitch, which means we have a single crochet increase here. Now in the next 25 stitches, make 1 single crochet in each and every stitch. Just after including the tail ends for few stitches, trim the excess threads. The written pattern for this peacock feather is given in the description. You can take a printout of that and keep it by your side while you are working for your peacock feather. It will be much more easier while you are following this video tutorial along with the written pattern by its side. Now let's continue with the pattern. After the first single crochet increase, we are going to make 25 single crochet stitches until you reach the tip of the pattern. And now after making this 25 single crochet stitches, onto the tip we are going to make 3 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. That's 1, 2 and the third one. After the 3 single crochet stitches, again make 25 single crochet stitches on the other side of the feather. Meanwhile, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon to get the notifications for my latest videos. And make sure you follow me on other social media platforms. The links are given in the description below. So continue to make single crochet stitches for 25 stitches. And now in the last stitch, make a single crochet increase. That's the first single crochet and then the second single crochet. Now make a slip stitch into the first stitch and this completes your 5th row, and by the end of the 5th row you will have 57 stitches. Now again change the color and let's start making row 6. See the shape of a peacock feather? It's so cute, right? Please write a comment on the video so that I can understand whether you guys are enjoying my videos or not. Right, so just changing the color to green here and let's start making row 6. For this, begin with chain 3 and now make a DC into the same stitch, which means we have an increase here. Now in the next stitch, make a half double crochet increase. That means 2 half double crochet stitches into the same stitch. That's the first one and then the second one. Now skip the next stitch and into the later stitch make 1 single crochet stitch. This is the shape you are going to get. Now make chain 4 and into the same stitch where we have made the single crochet, make another single crochet into that same stitch. So this gives a nice feather shape. Now skip the next stitch and make a single crochet into the later stitch. Now chain 4 and make a single crochet stitch into the same stitch. So after making few stitches, I am just trimming down the excess threads and now into the same stitch make the single crochet. Again this gives another point. Now continue this pattern for 12 times. This means we have already done 2 times. We are going to continue the pattern of skip 1 stitch, single crochet, chain 4 and single crochet for 12 times. Here I am making the last one and now we have reached the middle part, which is a little bit difficult to follow, so just slow down the video for you and try to follow the same. Into the next stitch, make HDC. Now chain 3 and make a picot stitch. Insert the needle back into the half double crochet stitch and make a slip stitch, that is a chain 3 picot. And now into the same stitch, make 1 double crochet stitch. All this goes into one stitch. Now into the next stitch, make a triple crochet. So yarn over twice and then make a TC. Then make a chain 3 and into the triple crochet make a chain 3 picot stitch. And then into the same stitch make 1 double crochet stitch. This gives this pointed feel to our feather. Now into the next stitch, make 1 double crochet stitch and then chain 3 with a picot stitch. Now make HDC into the same stitch. This is the top of a feather. Now continue the pattern, skip the next stitch and in the later stitch make 1 single crochet. Now continue the pattern, chain 4 and make a single crochet into the same stitch. Skip the next stitch and in the later stitch again a single crochet, chain 4 and single crochet into the same stitch. Now continue this pattern for 12 times. We have already done twice, so continue it for next 10 times until you have few stitches left by the end. After making it all the 12 times, now skip the next stitch and we will be left with 3 stitches. So skip the next stitch and make 1 half double crochet increase, that is 2 HDCs into the same stitch, and then in the last stitch make a DC increase, that is 2 DCs into the same stitch. Now make a chain 3 and make it a picot stitch by making a slip stitch onto the top of a DC. Now make a slip stitch into the first chain, that is the third chain in the first stitch. Now chain 1 and fasten off by leaving a little long tail end so that you can weave in the tail end with the help of a tapestry needle. So this completes the crocheting part of our peacock feather. Now let's add some detailing to it. And for this I am taking a tapestry needle and 2 strands of yellow thread. Now weaving and weave out through the center and 5 stitches in the middle as shown in the video. Just make sure your 2 strands of yarn doesn't overlap with each other to give the nice texture to the feather. I'm just inserting the needle through nearby stitches so that the threads will stay in place without any disturbances in the stitching. Just repeat this process for 5 times in the 5 stitches across the center. After weaving in for all the 5 times, now make a knot to secure all this detailing, and now weave in the excess threads through the nearby stitches. Now trim the excess thread close to the project. Weave in the other tail ends as well. And that's it. Your beautiful crocheted peacock feather applique is now ready. You can use them as a keychain or a bookmark, or use it as an applique for your crochet projects. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIY Crafts.